So how does a high-stakes aerospace engineer, someone totally grounded in process and structure, completely transform into this dynamic innovation leader who's fluent in AI and empathetic leadership? It sounds like a huge leap, right? Well, that's exactly the journey we're exploring today as we unpack the incredible career playbook of Alicia M. Morgan. And it all kicks off with this really core idea. This isn't a story about just throwing away your old skills to pick up new ones. Not at all. It's about how a really strong sense of identity can actually leverage technology to amplify your impact, not replace you. And that right there, that's the central theme of her entire career pivot. Okay, so the big question is, how did this actually happen? How does a career built on the hard lines and rigid structures of engineering become the launchpad for something as fluid and human-centered as strategic leadership? It's a fascinating question, so let's unpack that playbook. Every great career pivot has to start from a super solid foundation. And for Morgan, that foundation was forged in the incredibly demanding world of aerospace and defense. We're talking about an environment where discipline and structure, well, they aren't just best practices. They are absolutely mission critical. And you can see that foundation right here in her background. It's this awesome mix of deep technical knowledge and a real focus on process excellence. You've got degrees in aerospace and industrial engineering, but then look, you see certifications like PMP for super disciplined project management and Lean Six Sigma for relentless process improvement. This tells you her mind was trained not just to solve a technical problem, but to optimize the entire system around that problem. And that kind of training, it had a massive impact. We are not talking about small, tiny efficiencies here. On just a single factory redesign project at Raytheon, her work generated over $3.2 million in cost savings. That is the real, tangible result of applying that structured engineering mindset. And get this, it wasn't even just about the money. That same project avoided 16,000 labor hours. Think about that. It's such a brilliant illustration of how process optimization translates directly into human efficiency. It's all about making the work smarter, not just harder. So this, right here, this was the world she mastered. The traditional, super rigorous project lifecycle. She managed over 30 capital projects, so she lived and breathed this process every single day. And it's a framework that builds incredible discipline and accountability. The exact kind of skills that would become so crucial later on in her career. Okay, so here's the crucial point, the pivot. With that deep, solid foundation and structure, Morgan began this very deliberate shift, moving away from solving technical problems with systems and toward solving human problems through leadership and community impact. And this timeline, it just maps out that journey perfectly. You can literally see the arc. She goes from that highly regulated corporate world at Raytheon to bridging those technical skills over into the nonprofit sector. Then she scales up that impact as an executive and finally synthesizes it all into strategic consulting. It's really a masterclass in cross-sector learning. And you know what's amazing? Her impact in the nonprofit world was just as quantifiable as her engineering work. By applying that same strategic mindset to a totally new set of problems, she served over 45,000 students, blew past board targets, and secured a ton of funding. We're talking incredible, measurable results. Now, during this period, she really honed a new core competency: empathetic leadership. And let's be clear, this isn't just some soft skill. No way. It's a strategic approach to managing change. It's like using the same diagnostic skills an engineer uses on a machine, but applying them to people, really understanding their concerns to accelerate progress. Okay, so all of this brings us to today, to the present. This is where all those different experiences, the engineering rigor, the nonprofit impact, the empathetic leadership, they all get distilled into a modern leader's playbook. This is where everything comes together. And right at the heart of this playbook is her philosophy on AI. She sees it exactly like any other powerful tool. It's a collaborator. The whole idea is that it's not here to replace human creativity or strategy, but to amplify it, to help all of us think faster and execute smarter. And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. This is a daily practice for her. Her toolkit shows exactly how she integrates AI into her workflow. And notice the stack here. It's not random. It covers the entire leadership workflow, from strategy and research all the way down to execution and even refining how she communicates. Every single tool has a specific strategic purpose. Here's another key tactic from her playbook. shifting the focus of data. You know how so many organizations are just obsessed with lagging indicators? Things like profits and revenue, data that tells you what already happened. Well, she argues that true innovation comes from focusing on leading indicators, things like customer feedback and market trends. It's about looking forward through the windshield, not just backward in the rearview mirror. This next one is so powerful. It's a huge emphasis on transparency. A core part of her strategy is to document her journey out in the open. She's curating expertise on GitHub, she's sharing frameworks through speaking, and she's building authority by publishing articles. This whole building in public approach, it does two things. It creates incredible career resilience, and it models the path for other people to follow. And all of this leads us right back to that foundational theme we started with, identity. Her entire career shows that your professional brand isn't something that just happens to you. Nope, it's something you deliberately, carefully curate to be both resilient and totally authentic. And this is such a brilliant illustration of that very point. She deliberately went through the Artist's Way, which is a program all about creative exploration. This shows such a conscious effort to blend her two sides, the precision of the engineer with the curiosity of the artist. It's really about integrating your whole self into your professional identity. So, when you put it all together, what do you get? You get this, a complete 360-degree leadership brand. It's built on a roadmap that crosses industries. It's proven with hard numbers and case studies. She's fluent in cutting-edge tools like AI. She's recognized on multiple platforms. And it's all grounded in this deep self-awareness of her leadership style, that mix of a driver who pushes for results and a guardian who values stability. Every single piece reinforces the others. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. This whole journey we've just unpacked really is a powerful playbook. It shows that structure can absolutely be a launchpad for innovation, and that a deliberately curated identity is your single most valuable asset. So the only question left to ask is, what's the next chapter you're going to write in your own playbook?